comes to retirement, we all want to feel confident about the road ahead. That means we're doing the right things and avoiding some common pitfalls. That's what we're discussing today with Gary Mattson and Laurel Stewart. The father-daughter team are Mattson Financial, a full-service financial and retirement firm in the Grand Rapids area. They are also popular radio show hosts. And so we are so glad to have you with us today.
Good to be back.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about some pitfalls. And are people waiting too long before they actually start saving for retirement?
It's kind of interesting that if you take a couple who's 25 years old and invest $10,000, and that same couple waits to age 40 and invest that same $10,000, at age 65, the 25-year-olds will have $160,000. The 40-year-old will have only $40,000.
Really?
So it makes that much of a difference, what we call your money work as hard as you did for it, compounding interest.
Yeah, sometimes I know as people who are that young, difficult to think about the future, but it's important. Okay, so let's talk about 401ks, because that's pretty common. A lot of people have heard about that, and a lot of people have them.
Yep, so the important thing there is to talk with your employer, see if there's any matching, and we say, hey, take advantage of that free money that they're offering you. And then obviously when you get closer to retirement, there's a lot of different decisions, and topics to be made when it comes to your 401k. A lot of times people use those funds for their income, so it's just to make sure you have a plan in place to get you through retirement.
Even if it's only $5 a month and you're just starting a new job, put that $5 a month away, and you'll be surprised what that will accumulate to you over time.
Yeah, so what can happen to people who retire but haven't taken into consideration income?
This is kind of a tragic scenario because they're really running a gambit that they don't know what they're going to need, and they will run out of money in retirement. Baby boomers, that's their #1 concern. Will I run out of money in retirement? By not setting a plan in place, an income plan, and knowing what their assets are, they have no idea how to place those assets, #1, and what they need to get return on those assets so they can live out the rest of their lives. It's kind of like playing Russian roulette. Not fun at all.
And the taxes too, you think about you're just starting to take a little chunk at a time, not knowing what that's going to do to your tax plan for that whole year. Setting it up in that sense of if they're starting to take income in February, not looking at what that's going to be way out in the end there for December.
Yeah. So as we have discussed before, what about counting on Social Security, pension, and things like that?
It's a great thing to do, obviously, to make sure that's a part of your plan.
Right. Pensions
are something we're seeing go to the wayside. A lot of times companies are actually cutting those benefits even though they say that they're going to be there for you. So that's why we encourage that you have different buckets set up to make sure that if something does happen with the pension that you thought you were going to have guaranteed, we can turn on a different income source.
Sure.
And make sure that your plan changes with you, because you're spending 30 to 40 years in retirement, so it has to be flexible.
Yeah. So let's consider risk versus reward. So what kind of pitfall can a person find themselves in if they don't have the proper balance?
Well, they could be taking on too much risk. Right now, we know bonds are underneath tremendous pressure because the feds have raised their interest rates, so they're going negative, and so they're looking for yield, and they don't want that high risk, so they're kind of moving to high yield bonds, which are really called junk bonds, or other areas in their portfolio to get that return, and the market makes a change, they could be devastated in 20–30%. That could be 10 to 15 years of income wiped out.
Yeah. I imagine a huge pitfall would be someone retiring too early. Of course, the idea sounds appealing, but maybe not such a good idea always.
Yeah, and I think the hard part there is talking about Social Security and Medicare. So if you're not, 62 yet with some of those widower benefits, or 65 when Medicare starts, you have some time there that, income gap piece that means you're going to be taking from your portfolio. And so are you taking too much in the beginning, to last you through?
Yeah, there's something called sequential risk, and that's having losses in the first 2 or 3 years could wipe out the rest of your portfolio. Doesn't matter how much more you make it down the road, you can never get that money back. So we like to make sure your critical income needs met, and then we invest for lifestyle. Once we have that critical income need met, that means you'll never lose those dollars. Then we can go forth and say, hey, we're not going to travel this year because the market's down, but next year we get to do the things we want to do.
Yeah, so you have a special for our viewers at home. Can you tell us about it?
Yes, so for the first 5 qualified callers with a portfolio of $250,000 or greater, we'd love to invite you into the office, have a cup of coffee and some cookies, and let's talk about your retirement dreams, goals, and desires.
Yeah. Sounds really, really nice. So if you want to make sure your retirement plan avoids these common pitfalls and more, Mattson Financial has a great offer for you today. For the first 5 callers, offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow you to sit down personally and have a roadmap drawn up, analyze where you are right now, discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. A game plan to get you where you need to be, so to speak. And the number to call, 616-514-3831. Again, 616-514-3831. And so, Gary, Laurel, thank you so much for coming on 8West.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. And we'll have much more after this short break.
This is 8West.